let's get started. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Ooh, we actually have damage. You can see that purple line right there. Interesting. Okay, well, let's keep going. 3, 2, 1. Our screen has gone to the blue screen of death at this point. Man, this phone does not like to be dropped. Now it turned off. Oh, it's restarting. I gotta say, I've dropped my iPhone a million times and nothing like this has ever happened. It's back on, but you can see we still have that purple line. This is pretty surprising, actually. All right, well, let's drop it from shoulder height. See what more damage we can do. 3, 2, 1. Okay. We're back to blue screen of death. Maybe it's because the battery was almost dead? I don't know. I gotta say though, it's not broken. It is time for the drop test. Again, so light, so easy to just sort of lose track of while I'm at the playground. Oh no, a bee. Onto the concrete. We have some chipping on the front. We've actually cracked the glass on the back. It could have been already in a weakened condition, but that was only one drop. But I think we need to keep dropping it. How about shoulder height? Okay, looks like no more problems. One more, ear height. If you only looked at it from the front, you would say this phone is amazing. It's this view that's the problem. Now let's see if the actual phone is still functional. Comes on. Looks like we don't have any screen damage like we did with the 4S. So the phone is still functional, but I think with a cracked back, we're gonna have to call this one a fail.
The fumble and drop out of the pocket is probably the most common way to break your phone. So we're starting our tests at about pocket height.
Since it landed screen side down, I can already tell you the back survived, which is what I was actually trying to break, but let's take a look at the front. Oh, the front is good too. But now that I'm looking at it closely, you can start to notice some damage. There is a tiny fracture up here on the top. There's a small dent where it hit. And then on the bottom, you can definitely notice a crack. Again, it's on the side, so it's not too noticeable. And then the aluminum frame has a dent here on the corner, probably where it hit first. Now, this probably would have happened on the aluminum phone, but the cracks on the back definitely would not have happened. So the back is not completely cracked yet, and the front survived, so we're gonna continue on with our next test.
This type of accident also tends to happen at around eye level as you're taking a picture, so we're setting our next test at about this height.
No, I can already see what happened. Oh no. Yep, it is destroyed. The screen completely shattered. I can tell you that much. Obviously it still works, but you wouldn't want to swipe your fingers on this screen right now. There's spider webs on the top. There's the crack goes all the way to the bottom, and but the back didn't sustain any more damage than it already had. Obviously the front is pretty messed up. The sidewalk is where most phones come to meet their doom, probably from about pocket height. So that's exactly what we're doing now. Starting off, screen side up. It landed screen side down, but it actually hit the back of the phone first. So I can already see the first crack on the back of the phone. Look at that. There's a fracture on the corner of that glass back. Let's turn it around. It looks like the screen is okay. The screen survived, but again, it hit the back first and it cracked at the first drop. And there's another fracture up here. It's tiny, so I hadn't noticed it at first, but there's a tiny fracture on the other corner and already a scuff on that stainless steel frame. Wow. So we already did some damage on the back of the phone. Now I'm gonna try to have it land screen side down.
2, 1.
So I can already see that the back of the phone is cracked even more. There are spider webs all over going through the entire back of the phone. That wasn't there before. So we did some damage on the back and it did land on the front. So let's turn it over. I'm scared to look. Oh yeah. Definitely a lot of damage, mainly on the bottom of the phone, and I have the feeling this is where it hit first. You can see over here, this was probably the first point of impact. It's a pretty deep blow. There's actually a little bit of glass coming out as I'm touching it right now. And then there's another bump over here and just some fractures all along the bottom of the phone. I hadn't seen that at the beginning, but as I'm playing with the phone, you can notice another fracture right here running across the screen up here. It's kind of going nuts right now. There's one more fracture and I'm going to turn it off because I think I can see it better when it's dark. Yep, there you go. Well, that's a wrap. Now, in my hands is a brand new iPhone XS in gold, which I just took out of the box. Let's begin our drop at hip height, or about 3 feet. Here we go, 3 feet, screen side down. It didn't sound so bad, but let's take a look at that screen. It did land screen side down, so here we go. You guys can see it first. How does it look? It doesn't look bad. So I can definitely say that it survived this first drop. Now, let's take a look if the glass on the back is just as strong as the one on the front. So I'm gonna be redoing this test at the same height of 3 feet from hip height, but this time the back is gonna go down first. 1. Okay, so that was not the most graceful landing. It didn't actually fall right on the back. It kind of landed on the side first, and that is stainless steel, so it kind of did break the fall. But anyway, we're gonna take a look at the back. You guys can take a look first. It's looking pretty good. Let's look at that aluminum frame. There are, okay, so there's a little scuff on this side. This is probably the side that hit, now that I'm taking a look at it closer. So there are some scuffs on that stainless steel frame if you take a look really closely, but it's not bad. I'm gonna take it even higher. Why not? This phone is already exceeding my expectations. So still within the realm of possibility, 5 feet, which is kind of roughly face level, maybe what would happen if you're taking a photo and it falls out of your hands. Now this time around, I'm not actually gonna try to have it land anywhere. I'm just gonna see what happens from this position when it hits the floor. Okay, here we go. Okay, so that had a little bounce to it because it landed on the edge again. It didn't sound bad. It kind of moved a little bit, so I think it landed screen side down, but here, take a look at it first. Screen looks good so far. Back looks good so far. The sides look good so far. I cannot believe this is the third time I dropped this phone and I'm still having a hard time finding any kind of damage on this phone. We're gonna start our first drop at about hip height or pocket height where most of these accidents happen, and I'm gonna drop it screen side down. 3, 2, 1. Now this was originally intended to be a screen test, but since it flipped and it landed on the back first, this is kind of a back test as well. And we're gonna take a look. I'm gonna let you guys see the back, which is what landed first. And I can already tell you that the screen is okay, but that's to be expected because it bounced and it hit the screen second. I'm gonna drop it one more time from about eye level, 5 feet, but this time I'm actually gonna put it screen side down, which is what we did with the XS because I was really wanting to break the screen. 3, 2, 1. That really did not sound good. I honestly think we did break it this time, but let's take a look. I gotta say that this was a nearly perfect landing. And this is the 4th drop for this phone. So I'm gonna let you guys take a look. I don't wanna look. Oh yeah, that's the one that did it.
We've built this. It's a drop machine that's gonna make the results as consistent as possible, dropping on the screen and the back. So how it works, we take a phone, this is last year's 10R, attach it like so, and then gravity will do the rest. Let's take it to the highest height that our machine can go to, 8'7", dropping the 11 first. See what happens. Okay. That sounded painful. What? The screen is fine. That was screen side down. I can't see any visible damage on the screen. The camera looks fine. And around the back, it looks okay. It's crazy. It sounded so bad, but it's fine. Okay, backside down. So this did a bit of a flip and then it did land on its back. I can definitely see there is a little bit of damage up here on this lens, but I don't think it's an actual crack. Let's see if it looks any different in the camera. It's fine when they're shooting on the camera, but there is a cosmetic issue. Now for the 11 Pro, same deal, front and back. Screen first. Super flat drop there on the screen, and I think we have developed another little bit of a damaged pixel right in the middle there. You can really see it when you have a dark screen or something like a dark photo like that. The screen itself is still functioning. There is no scratch. Camera looks fine. And around the back, things are fine. One more drop on the back of the 11 Pro. So landing on the back, some definite damage up here on the camera lens like we saw on the regular 11. Just on the rim though, it doesn't look like the glass itself is damaged. Let's take a look at the front, open things up. Take a look at the camera. Again, can't see any evidence that it's affected the lens itself in terms of taking a photo, but definitely cosmetically, there is some damage here. So I'm genuinely surprised at that result. There was just a little bit of cosmetic damage on the camera housing on both and those pixels on the 11 Pro, but the glass did not crack. These are pretty strong. So I know what you're here for. You want to see something break, so we're going to take it up as high as we can go. It's just under 11 feet and see what happens. Oh, unbelievable. That screen has not been damaged at all. The front looks fine. The back looks fine. Camera's a little confused. Let's open it up again. Back into the camera. Oh, I think we killed the camera, you guys. There's nothing responding there at all. There's no image at all. The physical hardware is fine, but it's just not registering the camera. Oh, I'm sorry, iPhone 11. Now the Pro. Good luck, little friend. 3, 2, 1, drop. Well, it looks like the SIM card tray popped out, but I'll pop that back in again. The screen looks okay. The back is miraculously still alive, but it's not on. Turned itself off. Okay, turn it back on again and see if it's alive. Okay, so it's turned itself off and then I just turned it back on again and it looks like the screen is still fine. Let's take a look at the camera here. Camera still works. Still got all those views. The images look fine. It's still taking photos, so it survived. Unbelievable. And the camera still works, unlike the 11. Well, I took them as high as we could go indoors and nothing broke in terms of the glass. Yes, there were some couple problems elsewhere, but overall, these are definitely the toughest iPhones that we have drop tested here at CNET so far.
And now it's Chris's turn with the drop test.
That's right. Like we usually do in these drop tests, we're going to start out at pocket height. That's about 3 feet off the ground. I'll drop it on the front, take a look. We'll drop it on the back, take a peek. If it's not totally shattered by then, we'll go up to about 6 feet, drop it on the front and the back. If it's still hanging in there at that point, then we'll reassess and see where to go next. Hip height, face down. You want to count me in, Vanessa?
All right, let's do this. In 3, 2, 1, drop.
Let's take a look. From 3 feet down, I'd say it actually doesn't look too bad. There's a little bit of a scrape right here on this corner, on the metal band, not on the glass. All in all, I'd say it's looking pretty good. Totally still usable, but now let's drop it on the back and see what happens. Here we go again from pocket height, 3 feet. Count me down.
In 3, 2, 1, drop.
Center it a little harder than the front side. All right, you ready for this?
Oh man. I say we just disqualify the backside of the phone at this point and keep going with the front because the screen is what's interesting, to me at least. What do you say?
I agree. Let's go to 9 feet.
All right, Chris is on the ladder. Let's do this. 9 feet in 3, 2, 1, drop.
Ooh, that wasn't exactly flat. You know what? It landed in the exact same spot and nothing really happened. Let me try that one more time and see if I can get it flatter.
All right, one more time.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, got a tumble on that one. Still looking good. One more time.
Oh my gosh. Twice from 9 feet, nothing.
Let me try and get this nice and flat. 3, 2, 1. Ugh. I'm telling you, this thing is doing great.
Oh my gosh. Nothing? Seriously?
I dropped it 3 times from about 9 feet, and this front screen looks just as good as it did when it came out of the box. The back hasn't even changed that much. This metal frame is really the most worse for wear after all these drops. In fact, I still can't see any cracks on this front one at all.
That's really impressive, Chris. I mean, even though it didn't fall flat, it still fell 3 different times from 9 feet, and hopefully none of you are going to be doing that intentionally. So I'd say it's a pass in my book, if not a complete win.
For our test today, we're going to start off at pocket height like usual. We're going to drop it from about 3 feet on the face and then on the back. Then if it's still surviving after that, we'll go up to 6 feet, front and back. And then we'll take a look where we are at that point and see if we need to go higher, maybe all the way up to 9 feet. All right, I'm up on the ladder. 9 feet, face down. Count me down.
3, 2, 1, drop.
Not a flat drop. Let's see. Nothing major. Let's try that again. I'll do the exact same thing. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. It's really just hitting this top corner like it has been.
It must be a weight thing because that's exactly what was happening with the iPhone 12, that we could not get it to land flat.
Exactly. But the glass hasn't cracked. Let's try the back again.
Drop 7 from 9 feet.
3, 2, 1. So after all that, it's still not doing too bad. We finally got some little cracks down here on this bottom edge. There's one that goes this way. There's a longer one that runs up here on the side. Up on the top, we got this big scuff mark above the camera. That crack on the lens might have gotten just a little bit worse.
That phone, at least from where I'm sitting, Chris, took a beating, and the fact that the screen looks as good as it does is really impressive. And even the back on the Mini was really tough to break. I mean, let's just preface the fact that not a lot of people are going to be dropping it from 9 feet repeatedly. And the fact that it survived that high of a drop is really impressive. So the lens thing is kind of a bummer, but that was drop 4, and that was from 6 feet. But I would say that the glass is actually stronger than the metal frame in this phone.
That is true, but I still think I can use this camera for a while. I just may have some little artifacting things like you said. Now, of course, I have to say this is not a scientific test, but in our experience, this one has definitely done better than the last test we did with the iPhone 12. I'm really impressed with the way the back held up, and of course that ceramic shield on the front is doing its job.
Yeah, Chris, that ceramic shield is no joke. It definitely holds up to the claim and then some. We have yet to break the ceramic shield on the iPhone 12, so tune in next week where we try to put a bullet through it.
All right, I don't know about all that, but there's definitely more iPhone testing to come, so be sure and check back with us and see what we have coming up down the road. But until then, make sure to put a case on this to at least protect the frame.